How's everyone doing tonight? Ready to build this Ugears Dream Cabriolet? Day 24. Can you believe that? Day 24. So here it is. It's all one piece. When we stopped yesterday, we happened to be at all one piece. I like this angle down here underneath. You can see it kind of lifts up back here. I guess another way to say that it's low in the front. I guess we don't really know until we put the tires on, but I like it. There's some things going on here. These wipers, they move. This window rolls up and down. If I can get a hold of the button. There it is. I think I rolled it like the wrong direction and I jammed it. Let me roll this one. This window. There we go. Crank the thing and the window changes. There's another one here. This one slides. Looks like I popped this piece off. Let me just put that back on. Not sure why that piece popped off. I guess I just got underneath it when I was like trying to work this window, which I'm still not even sure why that window didn't operate, but I'll figure it out. Anyway, I was trying to fix that window. I think I got my finger underneath that and I popped it off. All right, so before we even start building, excuse me, let's read from this sandwich menu. I don't know if it's interesting to you, but at least it gives people a chance to, because it's a live stream if they haven't shown up yet. All right, so Joe Montana, that's where we stopped. I don't know why Joe Montana's even here, or Dan Marino for that matter. I mean, I don't think these are Italian names, are they? But anyway, sweet capogal, provolone, lettuce, tomato, mustard, mayo. That's Joe Montana. Dan Marino, grilled chicken, fresh mozzarella, roasted peppers, olive oil, vinegar, salt, and pepper. You know, that grilled chicken, that kind of fits to me. I don't know. I know Dan Marino has some amazing NFL records, but somehow the image I have of him is him stepping outside the hashes and throwing it out of bounds. I guess it makes sense from a football perspective, but it just doesn't look great. And he did it a lot. All right, number 33, Tony Bennett, sweet or hot grilled Italian sausage and bruschetta. Rocky Graziano, hot Italian sausage, bruschetta, and Leone fresh mozzarella. Mario Andretti, chicken cutlet parm. Okay, so there's the chicken parm. Mario Andretti got the chicken parm. Not sure what he did to earn that, but Mario Andretti's got the chicken parm. All right, one more thing before I start taking the puzzle out. I'll just, because, something to talk about while I'm taking the puzzle out. Why is a minute divided up into 60 seconds and a circle into 360 degrees? All right. I'm not sure why I'm being asked to compare a circle to a minute. I mean, I guess a clock is round. So, yeah, okay. So a 60-second hand. So the second hand on a clock, an old school clock. Nowadays they're digital. But an old school clock with the hour hand, the minute hand, and the second hand. The clock would go around, the second hand would go around in a circle once per minute. So I guess the question is, why are there 60 seconds in a minute, but 360 degrees in a, excuse me, in a circle? And I would say that the 360 degrees are still there in a clock. It's 60 seconds, but like how long is a second? You can't really, you know what I mean? Like a second, there's a beat, like 1 locomotive, 2 locomotive, 3 locomotive, 4 locomotive, or 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi, 4 Mississippi, 5. We were talking about quarterbacks a minute ago. Was it 7 Mississippi or 5 Mississippi? When you could rush when playing in the street, it sort of depends probably on your block or your age group. Anyway, there's some beats in there. Excuse me. 1 Mississippi. So that's like 5, and then it goes to 2. So you could say that that it's still there, because 60 times 6 is 360, is it not? Does that sound right? Let me think about that for a second. Yeah, I think that's right. Yeah. 6 times 60 is 360. Hold on a second. I have a handy-dandy calculator. I mean, I know it's right, but let's just confirm it with the calculator. 6 times 60 equals 360, right? So it's still there. Like, I don't understand why they're even asking this question. Like, why is a minute divided up into 60 seconds and a circle into 360? I mean, the 360 is still there. Anyway, let's see what the answer is on the card. Because the ancient Babylonians did math in base 60, not base 10, and it's probably not going to change too soon. Remember when they tried to convert US to metric system? Okay. I think if that was going to be the answer, which is a good answer, I mean, it's a good answer, but I would say the question should be, why is it 60 seconds, not 100 seconds? Because 360 degrees is not answered by this question. At least I'm not seeing the connection between those two numbers. Anyway, let's go to the let's push this box out of the way and go to our Ugears Dream Cabriolet. What are we supposed to be doing here? Let's check the instructions. So we're up to page 49. We've put 573 pieces into this so far, and right now it's one structure. There's no pieces. All right, so 49. I think the 49 on the scoreboard is a bit aspirational. What we actually did was page 48, and 49 is where we're going to start today. So 49 is going to start with a little 3-piece construction, 287, 288, and 289. I got to give credit to this Dream Cabriolet. It's very common that they're giving us constructions that are, the piece numbers are consecutive. It's like 3 pieces in a row, as this one we're about to do, or sometimes it's 4 or 5, and sometimes it's matching pairs. Basically, they did a real good job with these, with the numbering. All right, so 289. Am I on the right board? No, I'm not. I need board 5. All right. 287, 88, and 89. They're all on board 5, which I'm holding in my hand. All right. Let's get some light. I don't know how I didn't turn that on sooner. Did you see? It took a second to adjust. These cameras have autofocus. Not all of them do. I have another camera that these two cameras don't have autofocus. I need to like this one and this one, they don't have autofocus, so they're sometimes going to look bad, but the other ones all have autofocus. Actually, there's one more that doesn't. This one doesn't. But this one, and this one all have autofocus. All right. So 287, 88, and 89. I'm on board 5. So they're here. I'm apparently looking right at them. But I don't. I see 225. I thought that can help me. All right. 389. Maybe they're not on board 5. Are there any other boards? No, they must be on board 5. It's the only active board. All right. So 288, 289 are here. I don't know where 287 is yet, but we'll find it. So 289, 288. Oh, 287 is like a long piece. Ooh, well, that's okay. I punched the whole circle out, but it was empty anyway. After 288 and 289 were taken out, there's no more point to it. So the piece in the middle, there it is, 287. That's the piece in the middle. Oh, I have one more camera. This one also has autofocus. So like if I lift this up, probably my face will go out of focus and that thing will go into focus. I don't know. Actually, that didn't seem to work. But trust me, it has autofocus. It's 287. It's not coming out. Long, skinny pieces are always kind of a risk that you could break them. If you pop one end out and the other end stays in, you're going to break the piece. That's just how it goes. All right, so 280. There's a caution here. The caution is, there's no ink on it, but the caution is like the rounded side here. Using this orientation, then 289 goes on this side, and 288 goes on this side. Let me get 288 in first. It's like a simpler piece. All right. I consider it simpler anyway. Then 289. Yeah, this is a tricky piece. All right, kind of looks like a duck. I don't know. Does it look like a duck? No, it doesn't look like a duck. It looks like when you go to some like little kid amusement park and there's a duck-based ride. So it's like, looks like a duck, but then the kid sits here and it rides on this like, it's not a Ferris wheel, a merry-go-round. You know those poles at the merry-go-round? It's kind of like a duck on a merry-go-round. Not exactly a duck. Well, if it looks like a duck, squawks like a duck. It actually does neither of those things, but I'm going to still call it a duck. All right, so there's our little structure. 289, 287, 288. Why did we build it? Let's advance and find out. All right. Now we got to get... Is this finally the hood of the car? It looks like we're going to attach the structure we built to the hood of the car, which is 290. And we're going to grab two pieces called 291, which are probably pop pins for those like old school hoods. Or maybe they're just locks. Maybe they're just hinges. I don't know. Anyway, this has got to be 290. Yeah, that's 290. This piece is going to curve. You can see that accordion there. It's probably going to curve at the front. If I can even get it out without breaking it. All right, so now I need two pieces. 291. Here they are. Oh, those are going to take toothpicks, and they're going to take rubber bands. You can see by the structure of the piece, it's the hole in the center is going to take a toothpick, and then that little slit in the bigger circle is going to take a rubber band, and then this end with this barbed, pronged piece, whatever you want to call it, that's going to go into another piece of wood. So you can, like, just by the shape of this piece, you can tell a lot. So it's going to hinge on the toothpick. It's going to close based on the, it's going to close something else based on rubber bands, probably the hood. Probably these rubber bands that have been sitting here since like the third day are probably going to go on that. I'm just guessing. Let's see where this goes. All right, 291. Okay. Let's do this. So let's make sure we got this the correct way. Well, this side looks a little rough, even a little discolored. So I'm going to assume that this is the top. It's going to flex down like this. It'll flex either way, but I'm pretty sure this is the top. Though there's nothing definite other than that you could see the grain of the wood more on this side. Okay. So the piece we just snapped together, that's going to go in the front here on these two blocks. Wait a minute. Why would this be on the front of the car? What the heck is it? No. Maybe that's going to go on the inside, in which case I should put it on the rough side. And by the way, we also need two 292s. So let me just calculate these pieces. So we're adding 5 pieces. That brings us to 581. Because we got the hood, two 291s and two 292s. Yeah, there's the 292s. They were right next to the 291s. Pop those out right now. All right, we're going to have to advance forward and figure out whether that piece we just added is an interior or an exterior piece, because that's going to determine which side I want to put it on. If it's interior, I want to put it on the rough side. If it's exterior, I want to put it on the smooth side, just so the car looks better when it's completed. Okay, let's see. All right, let's advance a little bit on the instructions. Yeah, absolutely. That goes on the inside. So this changes everything. I wish I hadn't put this on. We want it on the ugly side, because this is going to wrap around this. You know, first piece of the night. The most likely piece I'm going to mess up, it's always going to be at the beginning of the show. It's like somehow I'm not warmed up yet or something. I'm not in my right model building mind. All right, we got that out without breaking anything. Let's try this again. So now we're going to put it on the ugly side, because it's going to accordion wrap around this. Wow, that went right in. That one too. Probably when I wrap around, it'll be tricky. But at least for the initial, it went right in. I don't know, here you can see that. It's like right in there tight. And it's gonna, these squares are gonna wrap around here and touch those. But we'll wait until they tell us to do that. We're not gonna try to get ahead of the game. All right, so in the middle here, that's where these 292s go. So I guess they will go on the top. This is going to be the visible side of this hood, which makes sense. If you look at these pieces, they're like going to get flush. They're not yet. I mean, they're nothing like special yet, but when you push them in flush, they're going to look like part of the car, I guess. Let's see. Kind of like, what would you call that? That like ornament on the hood of the car? Hood ornament? Is that the name for that thing? Anyway, I'll bring it back to the, after I get it in, I'll bring it back to the close-up camera. Just to show it off. I can't get it in there. Let's give it a little bit of wax. It's damaged. The piece is damaged. My efforts to get it in already broke it. That piece is now going to be loose. All right. There's the piece. It's on the wax. All right, let's see if we can get the other one in clean. I was like bragging how it's going to be such a nice piece, and then I broke it. I mean, it's not terrible. I'm going to break the second one too. These pieces just don't want to go in. All right, before I force this in, let me take it back out and sand it a little bit. That will make it more likely to go in. Just a little bit of sanding. We still want tension. but I just want to get it a little bit so it fits. Shave it a little bit. Still not going in. Dang it. Come on. What is going on here? Let's pop it out again. The first piece broke. And I don't want to break this one too. I want to get it in there without breaking it. So I'm going to sand it some more. And try again. Keeping it perfectly straight this time. No turning. There we go. Got the second one in. So, is that second one in? First one's in a little better, right? All right. Can be pushed down a little bit further, I think. It's almost in. Excuse me. All right. Let's get back to this side. The side that's going to go inside the where the engine is. All right. So, how does this go on? I think it goes like this, right in the back here. So kind of like that. If I'm reading this correctly. All right, that's in. There we go. That's in. Okay, so now we got to wrap this around. And they're saying to wax this part back here. Even though nothing's touching that yet, but let's wax it. They say to, so we'll do it. Just this one side, huh? Okay. Now we got to flip this over and make it fit on here. You think we can do it? So this needs to come up and pin onto here. Let's see. That's one side's on. Oh my goodness. I'm going to break the other side. I don't think I can get it on. I actually didn't mean to get the first side on. I meant to just line it up and then push them both on at once, but in the process of lining it up, it went right in, and now I feel like I'm like, now I got to stretch this side to try to get it in. All right, I think I got it. Or I'm about to break it, one or the other. Not on. All right. All right. That's lined up. Let's push it in. Nope. Lost it. Come on. These accordion pieces are notorious for breaking. These like bendable pieces. They're notorious for breaking. So I don't want to have like a fight with this piece to try to get it on. But at the same time, I don't see how else to get it on other than popping the side that I already got on off and starting with this side. But then I'm just going to end up in the same situation on the other side. So, yeah, I don't know. I think it's lined up, right? Is that? No, that is not lined up. All right, let's try again here. Get this lined up, push it in. Shouldn't be that difficult. Just line it up, push it in. All right, here we go. Nope. I'm like damaging my finger trying to get this done. All right. All right, line up. Get some support. Now try to push it in. The support is going to do a better job than my thumb. My thumb, it would just like press into the flesh. This piece of wood should drive it in, but it's not happening. All right, let's grab a question. Distract ourselves while I'm trying to get this in. Is the Earth the only planet with oceans? I think that's a stupid question. I mean, how many planets are there in the universe? Like, how could the Earth possibly be the only planet with oceans? Like, what, they're like insulting us by even asking that question. Is Earth the only planet with oceans? Come on. In the solar system, do they mean? Do they want to say, is Earth the only planet in the solar system? That's still not true. Okay, so the short answer is no. Let's start counting the solar system. So Neptune, they wouldn't have named it Neptune if it wasn't full of water. I don't know if full of water counts as oceans or not. Mars supposedly, they say, did in the past, but doesn't currently. I don't know what's Venus. There's the moon of Titan, Saturn. You know, I don't have like definitive answers on a lot of these other than like Neptune. But I just think that Earth can't be the only planet with oceans, even if you're just talking about our solar system. And as I mentioned, there could be moons. You know, I mentioned Titan, but there could be other moons you know, planets could circle planets. I mean, you know, just because it's a moon as a reference to, you know, like think about how chemistry works. There's like simple connections of two different, you know, elements, and then there's complex connections of multiple. So like it could be, you know, mean one thing in one composition, one in another. So something that could be a planet when it's like attached to a star, then it could be a moon when it's attached to another planet, but that doesn't mean that it's not still a planet. I mean, it's just like kind of, you got to call it something. There probably is a word for when it's like planets attached to planets, or moons attached to moons, or planets attached to moons that are attached to planets. If I keep pushing this, I'm eventually going to break it. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take off my glasses. I'm going to take it off camera. Maybe it's off camera. Yeah, I think it is. All right, it's off camera so I can see it really closely. Make sure it's lined up. All right, it's lined up. Now I'm going to push it in. I think I got to push from the other side onto the piece rather than to push the piece, because the piece isn't going anywhere. What I need to do is push the hood. All right. I know I'm off camera other than my arm, but I just need to get a close look at this to get this piece on. All right. We're going to either break it or we're going to make it work. One or the other is about to happen. Because we're going to use some, what are these called? Pliers. Basically, we're going to push this on. It's going to break or it's going to work. It broke. All right. So that was a fail. We've now officially failed this model. The only thing I can really say is that we did get it on, but in the process we broke this accordion piece. We made one break in it, so it's still together here. I actually can't see that with my eyes. I can only see it on this close-up camera. If you look at it here, it's also broken through half the layers, maybe more than half the layers of the plywood. So it's broken in two places, but it is on the pin and it is connected like a 1/4 inch away. So we're going to keep going, you know. I mean, not great, but it is what it is, you know. It's something, you know. I mean, we know it's there, but maybe others won't notice. All right, let's get rid of the evidence. Okay. What's next? All right, the rubber bands. We knew this was coming. All right, so these rubber bands that are currently looped around the whatever this is, this stick here, we're going to free those. And then after we free those, we're going to put the hood on here. Let me just show you. So here's the rubber band, and here's these circles, these toothpick holes. So there's a toothpick hole there, and there's a toothpick hole here, and there's a rubber band holder here. So you can see how this is all going to come together right now. All right. I'm just looking at the instructions, how their order. So they say, you know, unleash the rubber bands, line up the hood, cut the rubber bands. What am I missing here? Oh, okay. These rubber bands, they have a knot in them. So probably you got to get the knot over that connector. And then once you do that, you can cut them. But don't cut them too close to the knot, or they're not going to work. Now, the problem is, all right, so here's a close-up of, see the knot in the rubber band? Right, so that's fine. But if you'll notice, they don't have the toothpicks into the hood yet. So when is that going to happen? Like, I don't want to start until I know when that's happening. So let's skip to page 50 for a second. All right, that's when the toothpicks are happening. Okay, so basically, step 1, release the rubber bands. Step 2, hook the rubber bands onto the hood. Step 3, trim the rubber bands. Step 4, put the toothpicks through. And I have those toothpicks. I have them like in a box, like from the previous days. They're in here somewhere. But you know what? I found one of them, but they're so like small that I think I'm just going to cut new ones. So I found one of them in the box, but they're so tiny. I'm just going to cut another one. We haven't cut any toothpicks yet today, so let's do that. So basically they're so tiny that I can't find the other one. So I'm just going to cut a new one. All right. Okay. There's our 2 toothpicks. All right. Let's do this thing. So step 1, release the rubber bands. I don't want them to fall back in. I'll kind of hold them. Step 2, you know what? I'm only going to release them one at a time. Because step 2, you need to get them in here. Which if I even can do that, it's like, you know. Alright, step 2. Get this rubber band into this little thing here. Do they have a preference if the knot should go on the inside or the outside? Alright, there, it's in there. Okay. Let's do the other one. So, we're getting it inside that little knot. That's the plan anyway. Did I just accidentally get that one? Yeah, I think I had it accidentally. I couldn't believe my luck, and I took it back off. I took it off to inspect it, but actually it was already good to go. All right. So the rubber bands are on, and we're supposed to cut them next, but I think I want to put the toothpicks through first. Because once I cut those rubber bands, we're never going to see them again. So let me get both knots to the inside. So I'm now doing this left side one for the 3rd time because I want the knots on the inside so that I can do, see? This windshield wiper came out. I want to be able to do the toothpicks before I cut the rubber bands. You know what? I got to cut the rubber bands now because I don't think I'm going to be able to get to them later. Especially now, as you see, I'm also now dealing with these wipers. All right, let me get the wiper back on. I'll cut the rubber bands, put the pins in, put the toothpicks in. How did I get this? How did I get it in yesterday, the wiper? How did I lose it now? And how am I going to get it back in again? I have a lot of questions about this wiper. I don't know how I got it in the first place yesterday. All right. It's like halfway in. Okay. Yeah, there's no support to get it all the way in. I can't. There's no like backside support. I just have to hope that I don't break anything. All right. Okay, let's cut the rubber bands. Let me take another look at the instructions. Oh, sorry. You're not looking at the instructions. Okay. Sorry about that. Well, you got a double view of the construction. All right. Where do we cut these rubber bands? They got them cut. They cut them pretty close, honestly. I'm not going to cut them as close as them. All right, I'm going to cut them like maybe ½ an inch. A stretched ½ an inch. All right, and as I predicted, once you cut them, you're never going to see them again. They're gone. Once you cut them, they're gone. All right. Now let's hope we can get these toothpicks in. And that rubber band is going to fight against us. But that's what it is. That's what they want. All right, that rubber band, I assume, is going to make the hood open on this hinge. So, like, that's the point of the rubber band. There's probably a pop pin on the hood, and when you pop it, the hood opens via these rubber bands. That's the point of these rubber bands. They also have two thick rubber bands. I'll show you after I finish this underneath, and those are the engine. They're gonna power the engine. But these little rubber bands are like for opening and closing the hood and the trunk and some other things. I think that one went right in, that second one. Let's see here. No, it didn't. But maybe now? Let's try it now. All right, one of them's in. One of the toothpicks is in. Having trouble with the second one. It's tricky because you can't see. You have to kind of feel your way through. There's two circles, and the first one, it's easy. You just put it in where it is. And then the second one, you got to kind of jiggle it. There you go. We got it. All right. So I guess this hood is going to open. Like those rubber bands are going to pull it open. Not yet. They're not doing anything right now. I guess they are. I guess they kind of lift it open. So then what holds it down? Probably something that we haven't yet installed. I don't know what's going to hold the hood down, but probably something. So the rubber bands definitely open the hood. All right, so we got the rubber bands on, and we're now on page 50. All right, page 50, board 4. Involves board 4. Where's board 4? 5, 7, 8. Is this board 4? This is board 8, so the other one must have been 6. This has got to be board 4. Yep, board 4. All right, let's see here. First step, cut a toothpick in half. So let's give ourselves 2 pieces for that. We're up to 583. Cut a toothpick in half. No problem. All right. There we go. Toothpick cut in half. Maybe not exactly half, but we'll get the job done. Now, what next? 293, 94, 95, 96, 97. Put them all on the toothpick. That's 5 pieces. So that puts us at 288 on the piece counter. All right, so 293 through 297. By the way, here's 293, but here's 325. So we're probably going to do this like 2 times or like a mirror image or something. Anyway, let's start with 293 and see where this goes. Tricky piece to get out. 293. There's 297. But there's 297 here. So where's 294? All right, they kind of scattered around here, huh? They're symmetrical. And we need them both. I'm going to start popping them out in pairs. So the 293, it's also going to be the 325. I don't know why they didn't have us do 2 sets of toothpicks, because they're obviously doing 2 sets of whatever the heck this is. Let's just start building them both up. So wherever 295 is, there'll be a symmetrical piece next to that. This is it. No, that's 296, actually. So where's 295? Well, anyway, let's just grab 296 while we see it. While we got eyes on it. There we go. Actually, 295 is way over here. And 295 has 327 next to it. And then 328 is right behind that. So, I'm not sure I've got the order right on all these pieces. I'll double check them at the end. Car was kind of in the way there. So 297, right? Was that the last piece? Is this 293, 94, 95, 96? No, we still need 97, which is up here in the corner. Excuse me. All right. 297. And then the, wait a second. It's 299. It's mirror piece. Why is it so low? Why is it not in the 300s like the other pieces? Well, I'll tell you. It has a 6 on it. And I think the piece we're looking for should have a 5, right? Because like this has a 5 on it. So, like, I don't see the 1 on this, but apparently there's a 1 on there because this is a 2. This is a 3. You can see that. 4. And then 5. So on the other side, it's this one, implied 1, 2, 3, 4, and then this can't be the match because it says 6, or even, I don't even know what that is. We need a piece that says 5. All right, here's a piece that says 5, 329. So in the instructions, if you look right here, they're indicating to pop out this piece with the 6, but that can't possibly be right, except if we're also going to pop it out like later. Okay, I think we're just going to pop it out later. So the 6 piece is right here and the 5 is here. They do look very similar, but I'm just going to leave both 6s there for now. I'm going to pop out the second 5. I'm not sure what's going on there, but definitely 5 comes before 6. That's what the best answer I can give you at this moment, is that 5 comes before 6. All right. But I also think we should have cut 2 toothpicks in half. Anyway, let's start with this one. So 93, 94, 95, 96, 97. So how many pieces? That's 5. And then we pop these 5 out. So let's go to 593. And we're going to need 2 toothpicks, so 595. So let's cut another toothpick in half. All right. Finally, let's put it together. All right, let's see the answer about this ocean question. There are oceans on other planets. There may be oceans of diamonds on Uranus. What? Uranus, whatever. And Neptune, and an ocean of hydrogen on Jupiter. That is much larger than Earth. If you visit, you can leave your swimsuit behind. The conditions are not very hospitable. All right, so they meant the solar system. They didn't mention it, but they meant the solar system. Planets is not a unique word to our solar system, is it? I doubt it. Anyway. All right, moving on. Where's our wax? There it is. Excuse me. I'm just going to wax these a little bit before I put them in. All right. So, get the toothpicks flush. Careful not to stab yourself when doing this. This piece doesn't have much to hold on to. It's like spectacles or eyeglasses. It's like not much going on here. It's like trying to drive these two pieces in, and we did it, but you know, I was worried that that piece could break because there's just not much support. Well, it didn't. So, all right, next piece is the 2, and we're going to face all the ink towards us. So, or let's say towards that piece 1. The ink towards the first piece. And let's keep the toothpicks flush. All right, next piece, ink towards the front. That's our pattern. We're sticking with that. Get the 2 toothpicks started, and then get a backing behind it and push it down. All right, 296 actually, ink front, number 4 on the piece. Number 4 is inked onto the piece. All right, number 5. Number 5 only has room for 1 toothpick, but it also has a little barb there. I think the second toothpick goes like underneath, kind of. I think that's how that goes. Can't really say for sure. It's like underneath there. This last one. I guess the pin is going to hold it onto something. Right now, it's not really holding onto anything. All right. Clip the 2 toothpicks. I think we all knew that was coming. Do we clip them flush, even though the last one seems like it doesn't go through? Like, I don't know. Clip them both, right? Yeah. All right, I'm clipping them flush. I don't know if that's correct. As far as I can tell, it is. All right, now what do we do with this piece we built? Oh, by the way, when we were supposed to test that hood, there's a piece that pops the hood. Apparently it's this piece. All right, let's see what happens when we push that piece. It pops the hood. Son of a gun. All right, let me get a camera angle here. All right, so look in there. Do you see that piece moving? All right, so that piece is like under the dashboard. You can see I'm hitting it with my finger. So this, oh, sorry, it's off camera. So this catches that piece And then when you press on the dashboard, it pops the hood. So there you go. All right, so right now the hood is locked. And I'm going to press that piece inside. All right, so you remember, oh my goodness, my wiper is gone. You remember this piece moved the wipers. One of the wipers is off. Let me fix the wiper. It's the same wiper that was off before. I don't know how to fix it. I really want to fix that wiper so I can show you how cool it is. All right, I have a needle nose plier somewhere. Maybe I can use that to drive that wiper in. Nope. So I want to get that wiper back in where it goes, because there's some really cool stuff, but I can't show it to you unless I can get it in. I'm worried that if I push it from way out here, that's just going to break. Come on. I need that wiper back in. Oh, goodness. It started flaking, by the way, which is not good. Trying to get this wiper in, and it's like I feel like I'm getting further away from getting it in. All right, it's lined up. Let's see if we can push it in. Damn it. Got it. Got it. Man, that was a pain in the ass. Okay. All right. So I just wanted to demonstrate for you. So this little knob here, when you turn it, the wipers move, right? So there's the wipers. Turn the knob, the wipers moved. Underneath that, there's a little stick there. When I push that stick in, it's going to pop the hood. Let's see if I can push that in. All right, I pushed it in. So the rubber bands are supposed to pop the hood, but I don't see it popping. All right. So I popped it with my fingers. So now it pops up. And then if I push this in a little bit, I could lock it down. But for some reason, when I push it in the first time, oh, there we go. Now it popped the hood. All right, so sometimes it sticks, but sometimes it works. So we have working buttons here. We also have a gear shift here. We got a few things that move. Do some cool stuff. I don't know how we ended up on that side quest because we never put this piece anywhere. Oh, because I went to the instructions to see where that piece went, and I saw this instruction for popping the hood. And I thought, okay, we need to test that. All right, so where does this piece go? It goes on piece 298. And 299 goes there too. 298, 299. And I feel like they should be asking for the mirror image because it's here. $298, $299. All right. They asked us to pop out the pieces for the mirror image, but they haven't asked us to build the mirror image yet, so that's a little confusing. Oh, yeah, there it is. There's the mirror image. So they definitely want us... Oh, okay. They do want us building both, but they call for it at the end of page 51. Okay, so let's build them both simultaneously. I don't know if that's going to be confusing for anyone, but I already popped the pieces out, so that's what we're doing. All right, so for the mirror image, it could be confusing for me. I need to see that mirror image. Okay. So for the mirror image, this is going to point the opposite way. So like the first one points one way, the mirror image needs to point the other way. I mean, once you get the toothpicks in, the rest just falls into place. But you got to be careful with the first driving those toothpicks in. Kind of stuck, even though I waxed them. This toothpick feels like it's going to break if I keep pushing on it. All right, went in finally. Took a little effort, but finally went in. All right, so that's the correct orientation. And we're going to keep all the ink facing the first piece, same as we did with the other piece. It's actually not going through. It was pushing the toothpick out the other end. I don't know, the second toothpick is fat or something. Like the pieces don't want to go on. All right, let's keep the ink all going forward. How long are we? Over an hour, and I forgot to put the cord into the YOLO box, but it's at 72%, so we're good. It's actually a pretty good time. Only took 28% to go an hour. Wow, nice. I missed the toothpick. I missed the hole. I don't know how I managed that. All right, must be thinking ahead to this last one. Okay, that's done. Now we're going to build them at the same time. So it's asking for 298 and 299. So we're going to grab 298 and put it here. Oh, two 298s. Okay, fine. And then 299, I believe, has a pairing. So here's 299, and its pairing is a 330. All right, 299. and 330. The hood popped up. Think I should fix it or just leave it? By the way, I dropped the clippers. Luckily, they didn't hit anything important. All right, so that's 5.99 pieces. All right, let's see if we can get this hood back down. I think that's in. Okay. So, first one goes, well, they both go on 298. And it goes kind of at this end. So I guess these two pins are going to go into these two spaces. That doesn't look right. Am I doing this upside down maybe? Oh, you know what? They're doing it from this angle, which is a little weird. But yeah, it matches like that. Okay. It's not weird. I just grabbed it the other way. I don't know why I decided to declare it weird. There's nothing weird about it. But, you know, it just was opposite from the way I was holding it. All right, so then 299, where does that go? Like, that's the next piece. Seems like it, right? And then it's just going to go right on down the line. Okay. We got a satisfying pop on 299, but not on the original two pieces. Well, anyway. All right, so now the mirror image, what does that look like? All right, let's use our powers of imagination here and figure this out. Well, first of all, we got to clip the toothpicks on the mirror image one. Okay. Mirror image. So it points to the middle and the pins point out. Yeah, that looks good. All right. Okay, good. We got a pop that time. The pop is the sound it makes when it goes through, because it kind of gets stuck at one point, and then when it goes through, it like goes through all the way. But as you can see on this close-up, that actually did not go all the way. Probably the other pin made that popping sound. This one still has a ways to go. So let's see if we can get it in there. Of course, we risk breaking it. It's not going in. Can't tell you why. But I don't want to break it, so I'm just going to move on to the next piece. Maybe we'll get a pop sound on that. All right. No pop sound. But it looks pretty good. And the rest of it looks in line. So even though it looked like it was sticking out a minute ago, I don't think it's that bad. But maybe it is. I don't know. We should keep trying to get it flush. All right. Okay, now we're going to need a bunch of pieces. 300 to 322. And that's not all, because we need the mirror images of all of those pieces. So 300 to 322 are going to go on this one, and then all the mirror images are going to go on this one. So we definitely need a card. While we pop out 23 pieces times 2, 46 pieces. So that's going to bring us to 645 pieces. All right. So, all right, what's our question? Is it possible for a human to lift an elephant? Are you allowed to use levers? Are you allowed to use counterbalances? Do they mean to phrase the question, a human lifting an elephant straight on their back? Because it is possible. I forget the guy who has the world record for the back lift, but I remember it's an insane amount of weight. They didn't specify the size of the elephant. They didn't say a giant elephant. They didn't say a baby elephant, so I'm not going to cheat. Like, anyone could lift a baby elephant. But even like a mature but not humongous elephant can be lifted by a human without equipment. You know, like the strongest human ever. But with equipment, and with leverage, with counterbalances, with other sort of tools, which humans are known for using tools, you definitely can lift an elephant. All right, here's piece 300. So the back squat, they have something like this in the World's Strongest Man competitions. It's like, when they show it in the World's Strongest Man, it kind of looks like, looks like a short squat rack with a chin-up bar across the middle. I think they call it a yoke. So in the World's Strongest Man, it's the yoke. And the person basically lifts the yoke. And it's got a squat rack. So because it's like basically a squat rack with a crossbar, they put the crossbar, and the crossbar's got some padding. They put it on their back and they walk with it. Now imagine that was lower. So the person had to like sort of squat down a little bit to get in it. And then all they had to do was lift it up and then put it back down. Like lift it like 6 inches and then put it back down. That's a back lift. So the back lift, that's the highest like anyone can lift. That's like, by the way, this first piece has a 7 on it. So we're going to follow along like 7, 8, 9, up to whatever. So anyway, that's the back lift. That's the most a human can lift, the back lift. And I believe that the world's strongest human can lift an elephant with a back lift. But how about a lever? The longer, you need a fulcrum and a lever, probably a platform for the elephant to stand on. And then the longer you make the lever, the lighter the elephant seems. It's like a hack to physics, levers. There's also a system with pulleys, where you can also create like 2-to-1 and 4-to-1 situations. You can make weights lighter and heavier based on how you do the pulleys. You also, once you set up a pulley system, you could use a counterweight, which is basically like a scale, except instead of trying to weigh something, you're trying to lift something. You're adding a bunch of smaller things onto one side because you can lift those smaller things, but as you add and add them, you then, it gets the leverage. Basically, it's a counterweight, and it lifts up the other side. So the other side could be, let's say, 1,000 pounds, and you put on 10 100-pound things, and then you lift it. So that's the counterweight. The lever is, has a fulcrum, and it's like the further you are from the fulcrum, the lighter the thing on that like short side of the fulcrum is going to seem. So if the elephant is on one side and you've got a strong enough lever and you're far enough away, it's like a seesaw, but for lifting. The purpose of it is lifting. There's a lot of pieces here. In fact, longer than I've got set up Yeah, I'm going to go off screen here. So I think I'm going to pause and start putting them on because I don't have any more room on the table. So let's just start snapping these on. How can I be sure I'm doing it the right direction? I think this... Oh, okay, yeah. The numbers face that eyeglass looking piece. Keep the numbers facing that piece. That's the way you keep it going the right way. And we're trying to get a pop sound on each piece. Not that we're going to stop if we don't, but would be nice. Pop sound is a good thing. Careful, make sure it's lined up before you try to pop it in. Otherwise, that pop sound could be the sound of the plywood splitting in half, and that would be a bad popping sound. Might sound a little different than the good popping sound. That was the good one. A bad one might not sound as pleasant. All right. What is this? It's like going to go on the front of the car. Wow, a lot of this is like decorative. Like these pieces in the back, and now we're doing like these like fins in the back, and now we're doing something similar in the front. I'm not really sure. Not familiar with this car, but looks like it's a fancy looking machine. Not just a practical. It's not like a minivan. It has another purpose. Cruising, I guess you would call it. Cruising with the top down in the Dream Cabriolet. I was accidentally in that situation once. We were taking a road trip from New York down to Florida, and we were like stopping every now and then, and we happened to stop in Myrtle Beach on the 4th of July. Like we literally got there on the 4th of July, and at night we saw the fireworks on the beach, and the street during the day was like crazy. It was like, first of all, it was impossible to move. And the cars were exactly like, not exactly like this, but there was a lot of convertibles. There was a lot of kids, like, kind of like almost like what you would imagine in a spring break movie. I've never been to an actual spring break. So this Myrtle Beach on the 4th of July was like the closest thing I saw to it. Yeah, it was something. And I'll tell you, it was very different. Because we had stopped at Virginia Beach a couple of days earlier. Like, it was a trip from New York to Florida. And that was a totally different vibe. It was more crowded. It was less cars, more sort of foot traffic. And it was very different. Let's just put it that way. Virginia Beach was very different from Myrtle Beach. Okay. Does anyone remember what that one was? The last one I did? I feel like I need to rewind the stream because I don't want to just guess. So 311, does that sound right? Well, 310 is popped out and 311 isn't. So 311 it is. All right, let's see if we can get these pieces out without breaking them. All right, 311, that's got an 18 on it. Yeah, I think that's right. 319, could always rewind the video if I'm desperate for the answer. 20, but really we're going up to the piece numbers. We're going up to 322, that's 313 piece number. All right, 311, 312, 313. All right, 314. I stabbed myself in the finger so many times. when I push these pieces through. All right, 315. Let's try to get my finger out of the way this time. They're all like very curvy pieces. They're not easy to get out. All right, 316, which is up to 23. 317. All right. 317. 318. 319. Oh, 320 is a tiny piece. All right, 320. Why is that piece so tiny? 320. 321 and 322. The last three pieces are all tiny. And they're tough to get out. Phew. Wow. Back to stabbing my fingers. Looks like this 309 didn't come out fully. It's got a layer of plywood was left in there, whatever. It's done is done. There's no going back on that piece. All right. There's 322. So let's get these on. Pop, pop, pop. Right? We're looking for that pop sound. All right. Well, we got something there. It wasn't a pop sound. It was kind of like a went out with a whimper rather than a bang type of sound. But regardless, it went in there. Oh, why am I off camera tonight? I got freaking all these cameras. How am I managing to not be on camera? I just got to remember to work over here. All right. 21. This is for the other side. All right. Keep all the ink facing the front. Ink to the front. Ink to the front. Ink to the front. Almost there. I mean, we're getting like 50 pieces on one page. So we got to be happy. Good pop on that one. 28. 29. Well, actually, I could have told by the gap between the pin and the size of the gap next to the pin tells you whether it's first row or second row. And when you've only got two pins left, that pretty much tells you exactly where it goes. Wow, that one was tough. Didn't want to go in. The more jam they are, the louder they pop. Oh, that's not really worded well. Something like that. Tighter they are, louder they pop. Anyway, there's one side. I think they got a couple other pins that they want on before we actually go and do the other side. Yeah. There's like, they want us to cut they want us to cut 2 3Zs So really we'll need 4 because we need to do both sides. And then they want 323 and 324. Stick them together and then stick them on this. All right, so let's cut the 4 3Zs. So that gets us to 649. And let's just hold there for a second. You think I can get them off of one toothpick? Wow, this toothpick is like burnt or something. That's no good. Let's get at least a clean toothpick. Oh, what the hell was going on with that toothpick? All right. There's my clipper. There we go. Okay. Clip the end off. It's off camera. You can see me opening the box. I'm basically clipping it inside the box so it doesn't go flying. Alright, that's done. 3Z is this middle size. Yeah, I don't think I can get 4. No, I'll probably get 3. Let's see. Take bets, 3 or 4. Alright, 1. Why do I need the 3? Usually it's the 2. 2. 3. You know what? I think I'm going to get the 4th one. 3. Yeah, that's fine. That'll work. Just cut the tip off. So it's like when you cut the 2 ending tips off, it's like exactly 4 of those 3Zs left. I don't know why they need the 3Z, not the 2Z. If we're only sticking 2 pieces together, we're probably after we stick them together, yeah, there it is. They got to stick in there after they stick to each other. So 324 and 323, those are pieces 30 and 31 based on the ink. That brings us to 652 on the counter. There's 30, but that's 354.30. I need 323.30, which is here. All right, 323.30. Something's wrong with my camera too. It's not going to the end of the table. Anyway, I got to play with that camera before tomorrow's show. It's like a lot of my cameras are off. I think it's like I set them up and then I leave them for a week. And then in that week, they drift. At least every weekend, I need to like reset the cameras like really good. Otherwise, they drift all over the place. All right, 324. Where is 324? Right here, 324. All right, so this is going to connect. All right, first of all, we need the ink going the same way. And then we need the ink. This doesn't make sense. Because the ink has to face this. But if I put this in the back, if I put the 31 behind the 30, how are we going to get that facing this? It's not. It's facing the wrong way. Unless it goes like this. Does it go on like a different direction? It does. Yeah, that's the answer. Okay, so it kind of goes on like this. I don't know if you can see that. It goes on like this. That's how it's going to go on. All right. So I think we can start them in this middle piece. I call it middle because it's going to attach to the big structure. All right, and then put this one behind it. And then get it flush against the smaller piece. Good. All right. So that's looking good. We got them flush to the back, almost flush to the back. Let me try again. Seemed like this one didn't go all the way in. All right, now they're flush to the back. They're sticking out a little in the front. So I believe it sticks on just like this. Yeah, there's the little notch. The notch is going to line up with that. And the toothpicks obviously are going to line up with the toothpick holes. And there you go. That's it. So we did one side. Now it's time to do the mirror image, and then after that, I guess we stick them on the vehicle, and that's it. All right, so I think it starts with 6 or 7. What is it? Let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, it starts with 7. And okay, I already got the 7. I had it here. All right, so we're gonna need that in a minute. All right, let's keep these in order. 7, 8. All right, so let's get our answer from the deck. Is it possible to lift an elephant? And then we'll go to the next question. All right, so a human could lift an elephant with a little help from their hair. A full head of hair can hold the weight of up to 2 elephants, so save your long clippings, and you have the makings of some mighty strong rope. Well, that question just went in a completely different direction. I don't know who could have guessed that from the question. All right. What do lists of numbers such as stock prices, city populations, and lengths of river have in common? Stock prices, city populations, and lengths of river. They go like up and down, something like that. Stocks go up and down, rivers go up and down. Populations, though, usually only go up. They have bulls and bears for the stocks. For rivers, they have sea level. That's more for seas, but it works for rivers too. Actually, it doesn't really work for rivers. That's not true. I mean, a river going down a mountain is not going to be at sea level, so that was a bad answer. Numbers. Oh, delta. They have deltas. There's a delta in the stock, you know, where it opens and closes. Rivers have deltas, which has, I believe, a different meaning. And then population. What would be the delta in a population? I mean, I feel like that's probably the answer. I'm going to pick up with 17 here in a minute. Let's just look, because I just heard the phrase river delta. About 30% of their numbers will begin with the digit 1. Only 5% will begin with the digit 9. Analysts can use these facts to help determine if there is voter fraud in an election. Surprisingly, data is not random when it comes to quantifying our world. Yeah, I read this. I think it was, first I read it in a William Poundstone book, and then second I read it in a Malcolm Gladwell book. By the way, you guys know that like everything the Malcolm Gladwell writes, William Poundstone writes first. I hate to say that in like someone is ripping off someone else, but you know, I think they're maybe drawing from the same pool of like science articles, but Poundstone is older, so he just, you know, got there first with a similar interest. But I guess Gladwell has a style that captures more people's attention. I don't know what to tell you, because if you go on, for example, Amazon, Gladwell's books will have literally thousands of reviews, and Poundstone's books will have like single digits of reviews, or maybe dozens at best. I think Poundstone had maybe a couple of hits, but all of his books are like the same quality and the same good. By the way, I feel like responsible for one of Poundstone's hits, because one of his like sort of forgotten gems, and it actually doesn't match the format that he used for the rest of his career was called the recursive universe. It was like a one. It wasn't really. It did follow in somewhat the way of his books. He likes to find some scientific argument that goes back and forth, whether it's in forums or in journals, and he'll follow that over years while doing biographies on the people. And that does come up in the recursive universe because he's the game of life, which was this thing they would simulate on computers in the 60s. That's the basis of this story. But then it has a big idea, which is the recursive universe. And that doesn't match the format of Poundstone's other books. They don't usually have the big idea. But Gladwell's books do. And that's definitely what makes Gladwell's books different, is not only will they have like some, science articles and some biographies of the scientists, they'll also have a big idea that ties the whole book together. And Recursive Universe from Poundstone has that, but his other books don't. He just didn't. He didn't view it as a requirement. It's almost like he just happened to see it on that book, so he wrote it, like just like almost for fun, or I don't know. I can't explain it. It's one of his earlier works, but it became popular much later, like decades later. Like it became popular like decades after I started talking about it. I'm not trying to take credit, but I reference that book a lot, The Recursive Universe. It's like a lot of my philosophy came from that book. A lot of my understanding of the world came from that book. And it became popular late. Like it's popular now, but it wasn't popular like 50 years ago or whenever it came out. I actually read it. I was in Russia when I read it. Not that I spent like too much time in Russia, but I just knew that Poundstone was my favorite author, so I bought up like some of the books of his that I haven't read just to bring with me on the trip because I knew I would have time to read. And that was a good decision because I ended up reading that book like 3 times on that trip, because that's like one of the things when you travel, especially when you're stuck in like airports and planes, and this was before the days of streaming whatever movie you want in whatever language and captions you want and whatever, mobile devices and stuff. In the old days, there was like one movie. It may not even have been in your language. And you would read a book if you weren't interested in that movie. So that's what I did. Did I skip? I kind of. The 17 I skipped, but it starts here with 18, so luckily no damage done. I'll just pop that 17 out right now. So anyway, yeah, I read that book, I don't know, 25 years ago, and it's meant a lot. It's helped me through a lot of thinking. A lot of ideas I had may not have made as much sense if I hadn't first read that book. All right. Let's count the 31 and the, 30 and 31? Yeah, let's do those two. So that'll bring us to 654. I'm just going to put those together right away. We know that they have to go together. I think that finishes this board. I don't know why I'm still carrying like boards 2 and 3, but this board 4 is done. As you can see, it's completely done. And I think boards 2 and 3 are on the bottom here, and they have some like doubles pieces. That's why I didn't throw them out yet, but they're effectively done. All right, so I believe they want the ink facing the same direction and with the 31 behind. I think that's what they want. I can always fix it later if I'm wrong, but let's just do that for now. What time are we up to? Well, not too bad. Showtime is a long episode, but I guess we started early, so it's not really that late yet. Right. So there we go. Oh, I didn't realize I actually was on the close-up camera the whole time. So I kind of put these through. I pushed this down, and then I pushed these two pieces down. And then, as you can see, it's flush in the back. It's actually not somehow. All right, there, now it is. So this is going to go on the end, but we're not at the end yet. We got to put all these pieces on first, and then we'll put this on, and then we'll add both these pieces to the car, and then we're done for the night. All right, so let's start popping these on. That was 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. Is this 21? Yeah, 21. Keep them straight. That's the danger of having, like, whatever this is, 20-something pieces we got to pop in a row, 22, is you can get overconfident and start pushing them in with all your strength before they're lined up. And if you do that, you're going to break the connector pieces. 23, or just picking them up and not checking the number because you're on this long run and you get overconfident. So sometimes you have to break your own confidence. Not in like basketball, you know. I mean, in basketball, you got to shoot quick, keep shooting. But in model building, sometimes you have to intentionally break your own confidence because you need to move at least carefully enough that you're not breaking pieces. Because if you break pieces, you're not going to finish the puzzle, or you've got to get some piece of board and start, cutting out your own pieces. You can get blank pieces of this board, and you can line them up with the piece you broke, get a razor and score it and pop it. And basically you can create pieces for the ones you break, but it's going to be annoying, and avoid it if you can. All right, almost there. The smaller pieces are tougher to push in. It's like you've got less to go by. It's actually one thing that's not too bad about. I know I complain about the toothpicks, but if the alternative is like tiny pins printed into this board, I don't know. Maybe I'd rather deal with the toothpicks because those small boards are really tricky. Those small pins printed in the board, they're tricky to work with. Wow. You saw that one went in. Tighter they are, harder they pop. Is that our rule? Okay. Last one. Almost there. Come on, get in there. We need this last one to be flush. It's like the most important one because it's the one that this is going to connect to. And as of now, it's not going in. But it needs to. Should we take it out and play with it? Sand it? Wax it? Or should we just keep pushing in? I'm going to push it back out, which is a risk of breaking it, which is bad because it's an important piece. But it's not going in, and we need to do something. It's funny, it's neither going in nor coming out. I don't know whether it's coming or going, but it's not doing either, really. Alright, I can't get it out, so we're back to trying to get it back in. Let's try that again. Let's get this pin all the way up to the front. Push from both sides. Still not going in. Alright, time for the pliers. Now, every time we use the pliers, we break the piece. So let's try to do this one like super slowly, and maybe we won't break it, but we probably will. That seems to just be a thing that happens. If you have to resort to the pliers, you're already screwed. All right. Actually, we might get it this one time. Let's see. What do you think? I'll take it. I'm not going to play with it anymore. That's as good as we're going to get it. All right, so now I have to get this onto here. Something doesn't look right. Oh, it comes from this side. Yeah, forgot about that. It's on. It's done. Here's the two sides. Here they are. Mirror images. Got some hooks on them. All right, let's see what happens next. All right, they go on to the car. I don't know who didn't predict that. It was like the most obvious thing ever. They go on the car. Do we put them on today or tomorrow? Oh, are these like headlights in the front? I'm not sure what to do. Is this hook facing the right direction? All right, it shows 4 connections. 1, 2, 3. Is this the 4th? 1, 2, 3. I only see 3 connectors, but they're showing 4. Oh, the 4th one is the notch. So I guess that notch is going to fit in somewhere. All right, so those 2, these 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. You think that's it? Let's find out. It's not going in. Let's get a look from this side. The notch is lined up. That's encouraging. Maybe we get this back piece in first. That went. The back piece went in. Oh, you can't see what I'm doing. Sorry. Basically, there was a piece back here, and I think it went in. It popped back out, but it was in for a second. Yeah, it's in. Those front pieces, though, they're not going in, and they need to. My goodness. Wood started breaking. I don't know what I was pressing on, but it wasn't meant to be pressed on. It's completely out. I mean, you can see it there. Piece is completely out. The back is out. Nothing is in. Nothing is in. Nothing is working. All right, the back is in. It'll pop out again, though, when I try to connect the front. That's what it did the last 2 times, so. Why can't we get this front in? Because we can't get the support we need. All right, let's try this angle. Come on. We got all this like delicate machinery with these wipers and hood pins and stuff. And I'm like now trying to make this huge piece. And I feel like I could break everything else trying to get this in. I'm trying to wiggle it in. But then once I get it lined up, I'm trying to force it in. But nothing is happening. It's like not at all going in. To the point where I'm wondering if I'm putting it in the right spot. All right. Well, let's sand and wax the other side before we attempt to put it in, because that's going to help. So let's try to do this other side, sanded and waxed. And if that works, then we're going to redo this first side. We're going to pop it out, sand and wax, try again. All right, back is in. No surprise, right? We always get the back in. The front is the problem. All right. It's completely out. All right, I got it. It's not in, but I got it lined up. I feel like it's popped out. I feel like the whole thing is going to break because I'm trying to force it in. Come on. I think it might have been better off without the wax, because then at least it would stay in rather than slip back out. Like the first side is not slipping it back out. The second side is, and the second side is the one I waxed. And I feel like the wax is causing it to slip out. So that was the wax was a bad call. Better off without the wax. All right. Yep. This is not going to stay in. Just slides right back out. In fact, the piece is breaking. Rather than going in, it's breaking. It's like smashing. And now the back is out. Let's at least get the back in. Maybe we can get the second pin in. No. Nothing is going in here. No. It's not happening. It's just breaking. The pieces are just smashing the bits rather than going in where they're supposed to go. So, wow. That looks like shit. All right, well, it is what it is. And in this case, it's shit. Hopefully, when we put the tires on, these will more stay in place. Basically, right now, they look like garbage. But there's going to be pieces connecting here, and those might help to keep everything together. The back is in. The back will hold it on for now. And then hopefully we add some side panels and they lock in the rest of it. So I'm not going to worry about it. We've got it back to one piece. It's all in one piece. It's looking fairly good. Even if we know it's not connected, it doesn't look bad. So let's see where this goes. All right. Our wipers still work. Okay, I think it's not bad. We'll do better tomorrow. See you tomorrow. Good night.